This conference will now be recorded.
Fine, guys. Let us start the session. Let me open one notepad. Now, in today's session, we are going to discuss about the new concept that is variables. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the new concept called variables. Let me keep here. Now, what is meant by variables, guys? I think all of you know that every programming language will have the variables. In every programming language will have the variables. So, what the variables can do means basically variables are used to hold some data. Let us say I'm declaring one variable here. The variable name is a. Now into this variable I want to store some value. What is the use of this variable says? Variables are used to store some data, guys. Now what is the value I'm going to store into this? A variable is, the value is 10. Now currently this variable is holding what value here is? The a variable is holding the value. So basically the variables are used to hold the data, or it is used to store the data temporarily. Temporarily it will use it to store the data, guys. Let me keep that point here. What is meant by variables means variables are variables are used to store the values or the data. What is the functionality of variables is? Variables are used to store the values or the data. Now, how many values a variable can hold? We know that variables are used to store some data. Let us say I'm storing some value into this variable. The variable name means a, and the value is 10. Now, a variable can hold how many values? The variable can hold only one value, guys. It is not possible to store more than one value in a single variable. So, what is the second point here is, as we know that variables can hold variables can hold only one value. Let me keep that point here. Variables can hold only one value. Now, what type of values the variables can hold, guys? I'm telling that variables can hold only one value. Now, what type of values the variables can hold means any type of data. The variables can hold the character values. The variables can hold the character values. The variables can hold the number values. In Power Apps, the variables are used to store the colors. Let's say if there are some colors where you need to go and use repeatedly, the variables can hold the colors. The variables can hold the font style. The variables can hold the font style, or the variables can hold the font size. The variables can hold the font size, or the variables can hold the font weight. That means weight means bold, semi bold, like this. So the variables in Power Apps can hold any type of data, guys. Whatever the type of data it is, not only character or numerical values, whatever the data I want to store into the variables, you can store it into them, any one of the variables. The variables can hold any one value. That value may be either it is a text, integer, color, font, whatever it is, whatever the data type it will be, it can store those values. And next point here is variables are temporarily stored in the RAM, guys. Variables are not going to be permanently stored. Let me keep here. Variables are stored temporarily in the RAM. Variables are stored. Let me keep here. Variables are stored temporarily in the RAM. So when the variables can hold temporarily in the RAM means at the time of at the time of app runtime, guys. Whenever if you are running the app, that means while using the app only, at that time the variables are going to be storing the data. Where the variables are going to be stored means in the RAM. Variables are temporarily stored in the RAM at the time of runtime app, guys. Whenever you are running the app, at that time only the variables can hold the data. And where the variables are going to be stored means in the RAM, that too temporarily. And also one more point, variables can hold the data. When the variables can hold the data means variables can hold the data while using the app only. While using the app only. When the variables can hold the data means variables can hold the data while using the app only. So if you while you are going to use the app, at that time only the variables can hold the data, guess. Let us say I'm having one variable, a variable. Into this variable I'm holding the value as 10. Now when this variable can hold this data means at the time of using the app only the variables can hold the data. If you are not using the app, the variables doesn't hold any data, guess. And also when the variables or where the variables are going to be stored means, as we know that variables are stored temporarily in the RAM. That too, when the variables are stored temporarily in the RAM means while you are using the app only the variables are going to be stored in the RAM, that too temporarily. And when the variables can hold the data means while you are using the app only the variables can hold the data. So this is what is meant by variables in Power Apps. Simple, variables are used to store the data or the values. Second point is variables can hold how many values means a variable can hold only one value. What type of values it can store? Either numerical values, date values, text values, whatever the data type it is. Guys, color, if you want to store any color, if you want to store any font style, if you want to store any font size, everything, any data type it will be, it will store the data in the variables. And next point here is variables are stored temporarily in the RAM, that too in the while using the app. And when the variables can hold the data means variables can hold the data while you are going to use the app only, guys. Once after using the app, if you close the app, the variables are holding the data means no, the variables are not going to be hold any data. So this is what meant by variables. Next point we'll discuss here is types of variables. The next point we are going to discuss here is types of variables, guys. Now, what are the different types of variables? What are the different types of variables that are available in the Power Apps? Types of variables. Now try to understand, guys. What are the types of variables that are available here? So we have the two types of variables. One is local variables. One is local variables. Second one is global variables. There are two types of variables in Power Apps. One is local variables, second one is global variables. First, let me go and discuss about what is this local variables, and next we'll discuss about what is this global variables case. Now, try to understand what is this global variables means. What is this global variables is? Let me keep here. This global variables, sorry, local variables case. What is this local variables is? These local variables are also called as a context variables, guys. These local variables are also called as what? Context variables. Context variables. Keep in mind, in the Power Apps, these local variables are also called as context variables. Now, what is meant by these local variables and how to create it? First, let me try to explain how to create the local variables, guys. Local variables are created or defined. Local variables are created or defined by using the one of the PowerFX function, that is update context. What is that function we are going to use? Update context. By using this update context function, we are going to create the local variables. Local variables are created or defined by using what means? By using the update context function. It is one function, guys. It is a function in the PowerApps. With the help of this function, we are going to create these local variables. And next point here is local variables accessible can be accessible within the same screen, guys. Let me keep that point. Local variables can be accessed can be accessed within the same screen within the same screen. That means, try to understand, guys. I'm having an app. In that app, think that I'm having the two screens is there. Think that I'm having the two screens. One is screen one, and second one is screen two. I'm having the two screens in the app. I'm having the two screens in the app. Now try to understand. Try to understand. In screen one, I'm declaring one local variable. I'm declaring one local variable in screen one. Now whatever the variable, local variable, I'm going to declare in screen one, it is possible to access or it is possible to use this local variable in another screen within the same app. Means no, it is not possible. We are not able to access the local variables in another screen. If you create this local variable in screen one, if you want to access or if you want to use this local variable in another screen within the same app, means it is not possible, guys. So local variables are going to be accessed within the same screen. In which screen you are declaring that variable, local variable, on that screens only we are able to use it. It is not possible to use the local variables in the another screens. Let me keep that point also here. Local variables can be accessed within the same screen. That means it is not possible. It is not possible to access. It is not possible to access the local variables. The local variables in another screen. In another screen of the app. Within the app, if you want to use the local variable in another screen, means no, it is not possible. It is not possible to access the local variables in another screen of the app. So this is what meant by local variables, guys. Local variables are created by using which function? Update context function. And these local variables can be accessed within the same screen. It is not possible to access the local variables in another screen of the same app. And what is the syntax, guys? What is the syntax? What is the syntax to create a local variable? How to create a local variable? As we know that to create the local variable, what is the function we need to go and use? Update context is the function. Update context. Update context. Open brackets and closed brackets. Within the open brackets and closed brackets, now you need to open the flower brackets, guys. Now within this, you can go and declare the variable name. Let us say I'm declaring the variable name as local variable. Let me keep it as ename. This is the variable name, and then colon, and then pass the whatever the value you want to store into this variable. Let us say I want to store the value as one of the employee name I want to store. Let me keep here Warner. Let me keep here Warner is the name I'm going to store. Now this is a syntax. This is a syntax how to declare or create a local variable, guys, by using the update context, and then after open brackets and closed brackets, within that you need to open the flower brackets and then pass the variable name, single that colon, and then pass the whatever the value you want to store into this variable. This is syntax how to create a local variable. And next one is global variables. Now what is this global variables? What is this global variables? Try to understand how to create or declare this global variables. Means global variables global variables are created or defined by using the by using the one of the keyword called set keyword, guys. With the help of the set keyword, we can go and create or declare the global variables. Set keyword, this is one of the function. Set is one of the function. It is one of the function in the Power Apps, which is used to declare the global variables. And next point is, it is possible to use this global variables in another screens of the app. Means yes, we can use it, guys. In the name it is telling global variables. If you declare one of the global variable in screen one, let us say, if you declare any one of the global variable, the variable name is, let us say I'm declaring the variable name as global var underscore ename. Is the variable I'm declaring here. Now, if you want to use this variable in another screens of the app, let's say I'm having the screen 2. In the screen 2, if you want to use this variable, means yes, you can go and use it. Or if there is another screen 3. In screen 3 also, if you want to go and use this variable, means yes, you can go and use it. So, if you want to use the global variables in different screens of the screen, means yes, you can go and use it. Let me keep that point here. It is possible to access them. It is possible to access the global variables. It is possible to access the global variables in all the screens, of the app. If you want to use this global variables in all the screens of the app, you can go and use it. But whereas local variables can be used within the same screen, it is possible to use it in another screen. Means no, it is not possible to access the local variables in another screen of the app. But whereas global variables, yes, you are able to go and use these global variables in all the different screens within the same app. So this is what is meant by local variables and what is meant by this global variables, guys. And what is syntax? What is syntax to create or define the global variable, guys? What is the syntax to create? What is the keyword we need to go and use it? Set keyword. Let me write the syntax. What the syntax is? We need to go and use the keyword called set keyword. Open brackets and close brackets. Within that, you need to pass the variable name. First, you need to pass the variable name. Let me pass the variable name as global variable. The variable name is ename. Global var ename. Now keep comma and then pass the name, guys. Whatever the value you want to store into this variable, pass that value here. Let us say I'm passing the employee name as Warner. Pass the variable name, keep comma, and then pass the whatever the value you want to store into this variable. This is syntax how to create or declare the global variables. This is syntax to declare the local variables, that is context variables, and this is syntax to define or create the global variables. Now let me go and open the Power Apps and let me show you how to work with these variables, guys. How to go and declare the local variables with the help of update context, and how to go and declare these global variables with the help of the set functions. Let me go to the Power Apps. Let me go and open the Power Apps. Someone please confirm. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's visible.
Someone is telling that's not visible. Parvati, check the network connections from your side, madam. I think from my side everything is fine. Fine. Let me connect to them. Let me open the Power Apps. Make.powerapps.com. Let me go and open it. Let me go and create one new app, guys. Let me go to the create. Let me go and create one new app to work on the variables concept. Let me click on the blank app. Go and click on create. Let me go with the tabbed layout only. Let me keep the name as variables. Variables. Click on create. It will create one app with name variables. Now the app name, you can see it here, variables. Now let me keep one header for this. Let me keep one header. Let me keep the header as variables. Let me change the text. Let me keep it as variables. Fine. Let me bring one more text. Let me bring one more text label. Keep it here. And let me keep the name. Let me go and resize it. Let me change the text. Local variables. Let me keep some border. Fine guys. Now let me go and discuss about the local variables first. These local variables are also called as what? Keep in mind, these local variables are also called as context variables. Now, how to create the local variables? How to create the local variables? In order to go and work with the local variables, let me bring one button. Let me add one button. Now for this button, on the go to the on select property, current it is false. Now here I want to declare one variable, guys. When I want to activate that variable means when I click on this button, I need to go and activate the variables. So on select of this button, go and declare one variable. What variable I need to go and declare now? I need to go and declare the local variables. Now what is the function you need to go and use to declare the local variable? What's the function you need to go and use it, guys? Update context. Update context is the function you need to go and use it. Now within this, go and open the flower brackets. Now here, let me go and pass the variable name. First we need to pass the variable name. Let me pass the variable name as local variable ename. Local variable ename. Coalesce, and then after pass the whatever the value you want to store into this variable. Let us say I want to store the name, guys. One of the employee name. This is the value I'm going to store into this variable. And then close the brackets. Close the brackets. Once after creating the variable, now whatever the value I'm keeping in this variable, I want to print that value, guys. In order to go and print the value, let me go and bring one more text variable. Let me go on one more text control. Let me bring this text control. Keep it here or keep it here. Let me go and change the font to 20. Keep it semi bold. Let me give some border. Fine. Now go to the text property. Remove this, and pass the variable name. What is the variable name? Local variable ename. This is the variable name. Currently, I am not clicking on this button, guys. When I click on this button, then only the variable will activate. Then only this variable will hold some value. And also, when I double click on this variable name, you are able to see here what the value this variable is holding. If you see here, this variable is holding the value as Warner. If you double click on this variable name, you can see that what value it is holding and what is the data type it is. It is a text data type. This variable is currently holding what value means? It is holding the text data type. Now, let me go and play the app, guys. When I click on this button, whatever the value that is storing into this variable, I need to print this value into this text label. Let me go and play the app. On select of this button. Now see, the variable is activated. I said that when the variable activate, at the time of using the app only, while you are running the app only, the variables will activate. When I click on this button, the variable will be activated, and whatever the variable it is holding the value, that value I am displaying in this text control. Whatever the value the variable is holding that value I'm displaying in this text control. Now see, in this text control, what is the name I'm using? Variable name, local var ename, where I'm declaring this variable. On select of this button, I'm declaring this variable. So like this, you can go and declare the local variables. And one more thing is, now see, whatever the variable I declared here, for this variable, manually I'm passing the value. Manually I'm entering some value here. So it is static. So whatever the variable I declare here, it is static, guys. This variable is static. I want to make this variable as dynamic. Dynamically, I want to store some values into this variable. Currently, I'm fixing the value. What is the value this variable is holding? Means Warner. So I don't want to fix this value. I want to assign the values to this variable dynamically by entering some values. So in order to go and make this variable as dynamic, what I will do here is I'm going to insert one control. What that control is? Text input. What is the functionality of this text input control is? It will allows the users to enter some data. Let me add this control. What this control will do? It will allows the users to enter some data, guys. Let me resize it. And what is the default text it is keeping here is text input. Go and remove this default text, guys. Go and remove this default text. And now try to understand whatever the value, try to understand whatever the value I'm going to enter into this input control, that value I need to go and assign to this variable. Directly I don't want to pass the value. What is my requirement now here is I want to make this variable as dynamic. In order to make the variable as dynamic, whatever the value I'm going to enter this input control, that value I need to go and assign to this variable. So in order to perform this operation, what we'll do here is select the input control, copy the name of this input control, and go to the variable. Just remove this warner here, guys. Now just go and remove the warner. Now in place of keeping manually passing the value, pass that input control name dot txt dot txt. Now just bring it. Now save the app. Now play the app, guys. Now see, when I click on this button, by default this input control is not having any value, so it is not displaying any value. But when I enter some data, now see, I'm entering the value into this control, guys. What is the value? Warner is the value I'm entering. So when after entering the value into this control, now I am clicking on the button. Now see, what is happening here is whenever I enter the data into this control, let me change some font. Whatever the value I'm entering into this input control, that value is going to be storing into this variable. That value is going to be storing into this variable. Now see, currently it is not holding any value, guys. Why? Because I'm not playing the app. Once if I play the app, when I click on this button, whatever the value I'm entering here, that value is going to be assigned to that variable, and that variable I am printing with that variable value I'm printing here. So let us say if I pass another value, let's say I'm keeping here Smith. When I click on the submit, when I click on the button, now see here, what is that variable is holding the value? Smith. So dynamically you can pass the values to that variable. Previously, whatever the value I'm entering here, that is static. I'm making it as static. In place of passing this text control, I'm passing hard coding one value. Now I'm not hard coding the value. In place of hard coding the value, I'm using one control name input control. That means whatever the value I'm going to enter into this control, that values need to go and store into this variable. This is the way how to make the variables as dynamic. And next one is how to declare multiple local variables. By using only one update context, guys. With the help of single update context, how to declare the multiple variables. Let me go and declare multiple variables with the help of single update context. How to perform it? Just keep single. I think it is stuck. Just 1 second. Let me go and declare multiple variables by using only one update context, guys. Context update context, and then after flower brackets, close it, Within the flower brackets, you need to go and pass the variable names. Now pass the variable names here, guys. Let us say the first variable name is name. Let me keep the value as Warner, or let me keep the value as Scott. Keep it in the single quotes. It is a text, right? Keep it in the single quotes. Now keep comma. Keep comma. Just by keeping comma, you can enter one more variable name. Let us say the second variable name I'm passing here is what is the job of that employee. Let me pass the job as a developer. Next, keep comma. One more variable I need to declare by using the same update context. What's the one more variable is what is the email ID of that employee. Let me pass the email ID. Let us say scott@gmail.com. Now see, by using only single update context, I'm able to declare multiple variables, guys. So this is one of the differences between the local and global. By using only single update context function, you can declare multiple variables. Now close it. Now go and play the app. Now see here, guys. Currently on this button, I'm handed one more context variable. In this variable, with the single context, I'm declaring multiple variables. If you go and click on this variable, it is showing the value what this variable is holding. If you go and click on the job, it will show the value it is holding. It will go and click on the email, it will display the value what value this variable is holding. Now what's my requirement here is I want to print the job from this case. I want to print this variable. Now how to print the variables? Just copy this control text label, paste it, keep it here. Now in place of local variable ename, let me go and call the name. What is the variable name I want to call now? Job. Now go and play the app. Click on the button. When I click on the button, now see, automatically I'm able to display the job of that employee. So like this, you can go and declare multiple local variables by using only single update context. With the help of single update context function, you can declare the multiple variables. In order to go and declare multiple local variables, no need to go and use the multiple update context functions case. By using only single update context function, you can go and declare multiple local variables. And also not only these variables are not only stored one single record, single value, variables can hold the records also, guys. Here in the Power Apps, the variables can hold the record also. Record means, let us say, one of the employee details case. Records means employee details. Let us say employee name, what is the job he is doing, what is the email ID. This is one record, this is another record, this is another record. I want to store these records in one variable. Now how to store the multiple values as a record? See, this is name is one variable, job is one variable, email is one variable. Now I want to keep all these records as one record case, or I want to store all these variables as one record. I want to store all these variables as one record. So let me go and use the update context. Let me keep the colon here. You need to keep the colon here. Whenever you are writing multiple functions, you need to go and keep the colon. Update context. Now let me pass the open brackets, pass the name of that variable, guys. Let's say I'm passing the variable name as local var record. I want to store the record now. I want to store the values as a record. And then after colon, single colon. Now open the curly braces again, open and close it. Now within this, go and pass the values. The first value is name. Now what is the name? Let us say I'm keeping the name as Maxwell. Keep it in the single quotes. And next one, keep comma. What is the next value I want to define? Next variable I want to define. Job. Let me keep the job. What is the value? Let us say I'm passing the job as a clerk. Or let me keep the job as a HR, whatever it is. Next, one more record I want to store. What is that record I want to store here is email ID. What is that email ID? Employee email ID. Let us say Maxwell@gmail.com is the record. Now this curly braces is for this one. There is one more curly braces, right? Let me close that curly braces. Like this, you can keep n number of values here, guys. N number of records you can keep. Go and close the curly braces and close the brackets. Now see, this is one record now. If you go and double click on it, now see here, it is stating that what is the data type? Now it is a record. This is the name of the variable. In this variable, I am storing all these records, guys. So this is called as one record. Now, when I go and click on this drop down, here you are able to see it. Name, Maxwell, job, HR, email ID, maxwell@gmail.com. So this is called as a record. Let me keep here what we can call it as means. This one will call it as a record. What we'll call this one means, we'll call it as how to assign the multiple variables by using single update context. And this is the syntax how to declare a variable. This is the syntax how to declare a variable. Now let me now try to understand, guys. This is the record. Close it. Now minimize it. Minimize the app. Now try to understand. Let me copy and paste this control again. Now into this variable, I want to store the record values, guys. Now let me remove the job here. Now what is the record? It is local var and then record, local var record. Now see, still it is throwing an error. Why? Because it is a record. From that record, what you want to display, whether you want to display the name, whether you want to display the job, whether you want to display the email ID, keep dot here, guys. Dot. Now it is displaying all the values here. Email, let us say I want to display the email. Select the email. Now save the app and go and play it. Now when I click on the button, now see, I am able to print the name by using the variable. With the help of the multiple variables, I'm declaring here, I'm showing here job. Now this is the record. From that record, I created one record, right? Local var record. From that record will contains the three values. From those three values, what is the value I'm displaying here? Email ID. So like this, a variable in the Power Apps, these local variables can hold only one, can declare one variable. With the help of single update context, you can declare the multiple variables. And these
Yeah,
local variables are also this. Let me
Venki,
explain.
one question
This
here.
local, one second. These local variables are also used to store the records. Record means multiple values. These are multiple values. I'm going to store all these multiple values in one record. What's that record? Like a variable. Local var record. Now go with the question. What?
Venki, in the last record is there, na? Actually, we have three values: Maxwell, HR, and email ID.
Hmm.
But in
Hmm.
the law, whatever you created, the last the text variable, the text label, you are showing only email.
Yes, it is not possible to show all the values in that record. I'm clearly mentioning again, it is a record. From that record, you are able to display only one value. Not possible to display all the values. If I remove email, if I pass only record, it will throw an error. From that record, what value you want to display? Whether you want to display
Oh,
the name, job,
can you
or
show
email.
all the three values to like some concatenate and you can show all the three values?
You can use the concatenate and you can show it. If you want, you can go. But by default,
Okay.
you can show only one value, even though it is a record. From that record, what value you want to display? I want to display the email. If you want to display the remaining also, you can go and use the concatenate and you can go and combine all those.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. So this is what the local variable is. So with the help of these local variables, so this is the syntaxes, how to make the variable as a dynamic, and how we can define the multiple variables by using only one update context, and how to store a record in the local variables. You can store the record, one record also in the local variables. These are the different ways to go and work with the local variables. And next point, guys, I said that it is not possible to access the local variables in another screen of the app. Before going to understand this, first of all, whatever the variables we declared here, where the variables are going to be stored, where we can see these variables. You can see the variables in the left navigation. There is one option here, variables. There is one option here called variables. F of x function, guys. you can go and click on it. When I hover the mouse here, it is showing that variables. When I click on it, here you can see the name as variables. Under this, you can go and see the different types of variables. Currently, we are working with context variables. Local variables are also called as what? Context variables. Go and click on the context variables, guys. Expand it. Now see, I am declaring the variables in which screen? Screen 1. Expand it. Now in this screen, what are the variables I declared? These are the different types of variables I declared. The first variable we declared here is local var ename. Select this one. Click on these three dots. Click on the view text. Now see, this is the variable name and this is the name the variable is holding. This is the name the variable is holding. Next, there is one more variable, email. Email is another variable. Go and click on the view text. Email, what is the email? This is the email. So there is one more record is there. Local var record. This is the record. Right click on it, click on view record. Now see, it is displaying it as a record. First one is what? Email, job, name. So what is the email? Maxwell. What is the job? HR. What is the name? Maxwell. So you can, where we can view the variables means, if you want to view the variables, go to the variables, and then currently we are working with what? Context variables. That means local variables. Expand it. Here you are able to see all the variable names. We are having the variables in only one screen, screen 1. Under that screen 1, what are the variables we are having? These are the different variables we declared here. Email, job, local var ename, record, name. These are the different variables we declared. So this is the way where you can go and find out the whatever the variables you declared. And next point here is how I said that it is not possible to use the local variables in another screen. Let's say I'm having one variable here, guys, local var ename. Now it is possible to use this variable name in another screen means no, it is not possible. As we know that local variables are not able to use it in the another screens of the app, guys. I'm going to the screen 2. In screen 2, I'm taking one text label. Let me do some basic formatting. I'm taking one text label. Into this text label, go to the text property and copy that variable name. Now see, it is throwing an error, guys. What is that error? Name is not valid. Local variable ename is not recognized. So as we know that whatever the variables you declared in screen 1, it is not possible to access those local variables in screen 2. Already we stated this definition here. It is not possible to access the local variables in another screen of the app. But there is a way where you can go and use the screen 1 variable. What is the variable I'm having here? Local var ename. I can use this variable name in some other different ways, in different way in screen 2. Directly it is not possible. There is some workaround will be there. How to use or how to access this local variables in another screens. That is by using the navigate function, guys. With the help of navigate function, you can go and use the variable which is used in this screen 1 in screen 2. Now how to use it, how to perform it? So in order to perform it, let me go and bring one button, how to use the local variables in another screen, guys. By default is not possible, but with some workaround will be there. So let me keep this text as, let me change the text to navigate. Navigate. Now on select of this, go to the on select property of this button. Go to the on select property. Now here, go and use the navigate function. Go and use the navigate function. Navigate to which screen I want to navigate? Screen 2. Next, it is asking us to pass the transaction, guys. Select the transaction as none. Transition type. Select the transition type as none. So you whatever you can take, guys. Just it is some optional value. Keep comma. Now it is asking us to pass the context. Context means variable name. Let's say I'm going to declare one variable here now. Within the open curly brackets, the variable name is local var now. Local var now is the name of that variable. Now into this variable, I'm going to store one value. What value I'm going to store into this variable means whatever the variable I'm having here, and whatever the value this variable is holding, this variable value I need to store there. This is the one of the variable I declared in screen one. I'm going to use this variable name here. I'm going to use that variable name here. That means whatever the value this variable is holding, that value I'm going to assign to this variable. Now go to screen 2, close the brackets. Now go to screen 2, go to this label. Now in place of passing the ename, let me go and pass the new variable as, what's that new variable we declared? Local var nav, navigation. Now go to the screen one, go and play the app. Currently, what is the value I'm going to pass here is, let us say I'm passing the value as Warner to the input control. Now click on the navigate. Whatever the value I'm passing here, this value I'm going to access in the screen 2. When I click on the navigate button, it will navigate to the screen 2, and in the screen 2 I'm able to see this value. Whatever the value I'm entering into the screen 1, that value I'm able to see it here. Directly, it is not possible to access the local variables in another screen case. Here also, what I'm doing here, I'm declaring one more new variable. Here I'm declaring one more new variable, local var now. To this variable, whatever the value this local variable is going to hold, that value I'm going to assign to this variable. Directly, this local variable, I am not able to call it in screen 2. What I'm doing here, in order to call this, whatever the value this local variable is holding, this variable value I'm going to store into this variable, and then I'm navigating to another screen. While navigating in the screen 2 also, I'm using which one? Local var nav, navigation. This is another variable we declared. So this is the way how you can navigate the variables, that to local variables, from one screen to another screen. Now see, I'm able to navigate from screen 1 to screen 2, right? Screen 1 to screen 2. Let us say there is another one more screen, screen 3. Now it is possible to navigate to the screen 3 means? No, it is not possible to navigate to screen 3 guys. In screen 3, I'm having the same text control. Let me do some formatting. Now in screen 3, if I keep here, call local var now. Local var now means now see, it is not possible. So it can navigate to which screen? Navigate to screen 2 only, not screen 3. It is not possible to use it in the screen 3. So if you go and
Sir,
see in the screen 3, it is throwing an error here. What is that error? It is not recognized. The name is not valid. Local var nav is not recognized. So by default, it is not possible to access the local variables on another screen, but there is a way where you can go and navigate it, where you can go and use the local variables on another screen, that too by using the navigate function. In the real-time scenarios, it is not recommended to use this navigate. Whatever the variables you are declaring local variables, you can access those variables within the same screen. But I'm explaining you, in the interviews, there may be a chance of asking this type of questions. Okay, you are not able, you are telling that not possible to use the local variables on another screen. Is there any other way? Is there any way to navigate the local variables on another screen? Means yes, there is a way where you can go and use the navigate function. With the help of navigate, you can go and navigate it. This is what the local variables case. Next, we need to go and discuss about what? Global
sir,
variables. Mm.
sir, while you are using a local variable nav variable, here you didn't use update context function. It is not required, sir. There.
Directly, it is asking us to pass the context, madam, here.
Okay.
Directly,
So
it is
in
asking us to
syntax
pass what
only.
here? It is asking us to pass the context. If you go to
Okay.
the update context also, update context, within that update context, what is asking us to pass?
Context.
Context only.
Okay,
Understand?
sir. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Now let me go and work with the global variables. Working with global variables is simple. Copy this control, paste it here, change the name to global variables. Now same scenario guys, but different way. Let me bring the same button. Let me bring one button. Keep it here. On select of this button, I want to declare one variable. On select of this button, go and declare a global variable. How to declare the global variable? Go and use the keyword called set keyword. Now it is asking us to pass the variable name. Let's say I'm passing the variable name as global variable underscore ename. This is the variable name. After passing the variable name, keep comma. Next is asking us to pass the value. What value you want to store into this variable? Let us say I want to store the value as one of the employee name is Warner. This is the value I'm going to store into this variable. Now if you go and double click on it, currently it is stating that no value is there, blank. Why? When this variable will activate, on select of this button only this variable will activate. Now just go and play the app, save the app, go and play it. Now click on this. Now go and check it. Go to the variable, double click on it. Now see, it is holding some value. Now whatever the value this variable is holding, I want to print this variable value. How to print it? Copy the text control, paste it here. Now into this text control, go and use the variable name as global var ename. Now see, when I go and play this on select of this button, whatever the variable is holding the value, global var ename, that variable value I'm able to display it here. And also see here, whatever the value I'm assigning to this variable, whatever the value I'm assigning to this variable, it is static. How to make it as dynamic? I need to take this input control. With the help of the input control, we can make it as dynamic. Just copy and paste the input control here also. Now go and take this input control name, go to the variable, go to this variable. Now in place of passing the value manually, just pass the input variable name here, .txt. Now go and play the app. Now whatever the value I'm going to enter into this field, into this input control, when I click on the button, that value is going to be assigned to that variable global var ename. That variable, whatever the value it is holding, that value I am able to display here. So this way, in this way, with the help of the input control, is the input control. The help of the input controls, we are able to make the variables as dynamic. And next one, guys, how to store the records in the set variable. By using the set variables, it is possible to store the records or not. Yes, by using the set variables, you can store the records. How to store a record in the set variable? We know that how to store a record in the local variable, update context. Now how to store a record in the set variable? That means in the global variables. Let me go and write the syntax. Set, and then after pass the variable name, guess whatever the variable it is. Let me pass the variable name as global var record. Global var record. This is the variable name. Now once after passing the variable name, keep comma, it is asking us to pass the values. Now open the curly braces. Open the curly braces. Now within the curly braces, go and pass the records, whatever the records you want to pass. Let us say I want to keep some product details, guys. I want to store one of the product details into this variable. Let me keep the product name as, let me keep the product name as mobile. Keep comma, what's the second record you want to store, second value? Let us say I want to store the cost of this product. Let us say the cost is 20,000. Now keep comma, what is the one more value? Sales. What is the selling price of this product? Let me keep the selling price as 26,000 is the selling price. Now close the closure bracket. Now this it is going to store, now this variable is going to store what? It is going to store a record. Now let me keep here, this variable is holding currently what? It is holding a record. Now see, when I double click on it, currently it is not displaying any value. It is stating that it is a record, but when I double click on it, when I display it, it is not displaying any value. By default, this variable is not displaying any value. Why? Because when this variable will activate, on select of this button, when I click on this button, then only this variable will activate. Now let me go and click on this button. Let me play the app. Go and click on the button. When I click on the button, now if you go to that record variable called record, when I double click on it, now see, it is displaying all the values. These are called as records, guys. In this global variable, I'm storing some values, multiple values. If you are storing multiple values in a single record, then in a single variable, not a record. If you are storing multiple values in a single variable, then we'll call it as what? We'll call it as a record. Now how to print these values? How to print these values? Just copy this control, paste it here. Now into this, I want to global variable. I want to bring the value as global variable record dot. It is a record, guys. From this record, what you want to display? I want to display the product name. I want to display the product name. And also just copy this, paste it here. Now second value I want to display here is what? Second value I want to display here is global variable record dot. Let's say I want to display the cost. I want to display the cost. Next, I want to display one more value. What's that one more value? Sales price. What's the selling price? Let's say I want to display the selling price guess. Now in place of cost, from this variable, that means global var record, this is a variable name. From this variable, what I want to display? I want to display the sales price. Now see, whatever the variable I declared here, this variable is holding the multiple values. If you are storing multiple values in a single variable, then we'll call it as what? It is a record. So if you go and double click on it, here you are able to see that values that is stored in this variable in the form of a record. Now if I want to print it, I'm using this text label to print the value guys. Here in this text control, I'm printing the name. In the second text control, I'm printing the cost. In this, I'm printing the sales. So like this, you can go and work with the global variables. Now where you can see this global variables guys, whatever the global variables you declared, where you can see it, go to the variables in the left navigation and go to the option called global variables. Click on this global variables. Here you can see the variable names. One of the variable we declared is global var ename. This is the one of the variable we declared, global var ename. Right click on it, click on the view text. When I click on the view text, now see here, it is displaying the variable name and what value the variable is holding. Click on cancel. Now one more we declared guys, record. This variable is holding the multiple values. That means this variable is holding a record. Right click on it, click on view record. Now see, this variable is holding what values? Cost, name, sales. What's the cost price? 20,000. Mobile name is, product name is mobile. What's the cost? That means selling price. 26,000 is the selling price. So where you can go and see the global variables means, you can go and see the global variables here itself guys. Go to the variables, click on expand the global variables. Here you can see the variable names, whatever the variables you declared here. Global, where we can go and see the local variables, go to the update context under the context variables. Under the context variables, you can go and see all the local variables or context variables. Now see, I said that we are able to use this global variables, whatever the global variable I'm having here. Let's say I'm having one variable, global variable ename. Now it is possible to use this global variables in different screens also guys, in another screens of the app. Let us say I'm going to the screen 2. I'm going to the screen 2. Let me give some border for this. Copy this, paste it here. Now try to understand. Into this text control, I want to display the global variable, which is declared in screen 1. I declared the global variable in screen 1. I want to use that variable in the screen 2. It is possible or not? Yes, it is possible. Now see, global var ename. Now automatically it is displaying that value or not? Now I'm able to access the global variables in another screen or not? Yes, it is possible to access it. And also, if you want, there is another screen, screen 3. In the screen 3 also, if you want to use it means, yes, you can use the global variable. Let us say here I want to use the record, global var record. This is the variable name. This variable is holding the multiple values. If the variable is holding the multiple values means it is a record. From this variable, what value you want to print? Let's say I want to print the product name. What's the product name? Mobiles. So like this, if you want to go and use the global variables in different screens of the same app, you can go and use it. So this is the way how to go and work with the global variables and how to declare it, how to store a single record in the global variable, how to store the multiple records in the, that means multiple values in the one single record. And also see here guys, one more difference in the local variables. By using only one update context, I am declaring the multiple variables, name, job name, email. So this is one variable, this is one variable, this is another email, another variable. So by using only one single update context, I'm able to declare multiple variables, multiple local variables. But in order to go and declare multiple global variables with the help of single syntax, it is possible means no. It is not possible to declare multiple variables, multiple global variables by using single set keyword guys. Let us say set global var underscore, let me keep it as salary. I'm keeping it as a salary guys. Now keep comma. The salary, the value I'm going to assign is 20,000. Now by keeping comma, we are able to declare one more variable means no, it is not possible to declare one more variable. Job comma, let's say I'm assigning the value as what? Let me pass the job as a HR. Now it is possible to declare multiple variables. Salary is one variable, job is another variable. It is possible to declare means no guys. It is not possible to declare multiple variables, that to global variables, by using the single set keyword. If you want to declare multiple global variables means you need to go and use the another set keyword. Into this global variable salary, I'm assigning the value as 20,000. Let's say if you want to declare one more variable, you need to go and use the set keyword again. It is not possible to declare multiple global variables by using single set keyword. Go and use the set keyword again. Let me keep the global variable underscore job. Now into this, you can pass the job as HR. Now it will allow us. So this is the second differences between the local variables and global variables, guys. Let me list out what is the differences between the local variables and global variables here. Let me keep here the difference between local variables and global variables. What's the differences between the local variables and global variables? What's the first difference, guys? What's the first difference between these two? One common first difference we discussed.
Same screen.
Yes, correct. First difference is we are able to access the local variables within the same screen only. Let me keep that point here. It is not possible to use the local variables in another screen. That means local variables are not going to be used in the another screens of the app. We can use the local variables within the same screen only. But coming to the global variables, we can use the global variables in different screens or not? Yes or no? It is possible to use the global variables in different screens or not? Yes or no?
Yes, it is possible.
It's possible. It is possible to access the global variables in another screens of the app, or in all the screens of the app. This is the first difference. What is the second difference? The second difference is, as I said, that it is possible to declare multiple variables. It is possible to declare multiple variables by using only single update context function. But if you want to declare multiple global variables means by using single set keyword, it is not possible. This second difference. Let me keep the second difference. What the second difference is? It is possible to declare it is possible to declare multiple local variables by using single update context, by using single update context. But whereas coming to the global variables, it is possible to declare multiple global variables by using the single set keyword. By using the single set keyword, it is possible to declare multiple variables? No. Let me keep here the second difference is, it is not possible to declare multiple global variables by using single set keyword. By using single set keyword, is possible to declare multiple global variables means no. Every time if you want to declare a global variable, you need to go and use the separate set keywords. This is the second difference. And third difference is what? One more difference is, third one is, let me keep that one difference first and then I'll explain you guys. It is possible, sorry, it is not possible to declare the local variables on the on start of the screen, on start of the screen or app, on start of the app. It is not possible to declare the local variables on the on start of the app. But whereas you can declare the global variables on the start of app, on start of app. It is possible to declare, global variables on the on start of app. Now, what is this on start of app case? Let me go to the Power Apps. Now see, this is the app. Go to these three dots. We have run on start, and also go and select the app here. Go to the property. There is one property called on start property. Here, if you want to go and declare the global variables, you can go and declare some global variables. Why it is recommended, why you can go and declare the global variables in the on start of the screen means, because as I said that global variables can be used in all the screens of the app. But whereas if you go and if you want to declare the local variables here means it is not possible. First, let me show you whether it is possible to declare the local variables or not. Update context, curly braces, close it. Let's say I'm declaring one variable case. What's the variable is local var underscore, let me keep it as ename itself, ename. Next value, let me pass the value as Warner. Now see, if I declare a variable, it is throwing an error. What is that error? Update context cannot be used in the property of the app object. We are not able to declare this local variables on the on start. Why? Because whatever the variables you are declaring on the on start, you need to make use of those variables in all the screens. But local variables are not able to use it on all the screens. So that is the reason why we are not able to declare the local variables on the on start of the screen. But whereas if you want to declare the global variables, set ename. Now keep comma. Let me pass the value. Warner is the value. Now see, I am declaring one variable. What is that variable name? Global var ename. What's that value it is holding? Warner. Now whatever it is possible to declare the global variables on the on start of the app. Whatever the variables you are declaring on the on start of this app, you can make use of these variables in any one of the screen case. Let us say I am declaring one variable here. Now go to the app, right click on it, click on the run on start. When I click on this run on start, this variable will activate. Click on it. Now go to any one of the screen guys. Let us say I'm going to go into the screen 3. Now let me remove this. I'm going to use that variable name. What is that variable name? Global var ename. This is the variable I declared on the on start. Now see, whatever the variable I declared on the on start of the screen on the app, that variable I'm able to use it in the any one of the screen in the app. So if you want to initialize your variables, if you want to load all your variables when you are starting the app itself, then go and declare your variables in the on start of the app case. So this is what this another difference. What is another difference is, we are not able to declare, it is not possible to declare the local variables on the on start of the screen or on start of the app. But whereas coming to the global variables, it is possible to declare the global variables on the on start of the app. So which variables you can go and declare on the on start of the app, we will discuss it in the tomorrow's class guys. So in the tomorrow's class on the on start of the app, I will try to create some variables, and which variables it is recommended to go and declare it on the on start, I will explain in the tomorrow's class. This is what about completely the variables case. What is meant by variables? What are the two types of variables? And what is meant by local variables? How to create it? What is meant by global variables? How to create it? And what is the differences between the local variables and then global variables? And how to create the variables in Power Apps? Local and then global variables. Fine. Let me stop here.